And although I still wear 12s in all my lifestyle shoes, I now wear Nikes in size 12. These don't have a glued insole. The interesting difference between these two midsoles, yes, the Plus looks similar to the younger Turbo version 1. It even harkens back to it on the outsole. But so did, younger versions of myself, and it doesn't mean I still run the same. So you're curious about the Nike Pegasus Plus. Great, you've come to the right video. I'll be talking about everything you'll need to know either before buying or if you've already bought these and you're wondering if your experiences are echoed in the running community. Welcome to the Time to Run channel, where I do most of the research so you don't have to do it all on your own. My name is Joel. I'll be covering some initial things I believe you'll want to know about the shoe and how I've used it and who I think the shoe is made for. So sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and let's talk about the Nike Pegasus Plus. If you clicked on this video, you likely fit into one or two, maybe a few of the following camps. You simply like Nike shoes and are part of their cult following, no judgment, I completely get it. And you're looking to check out what new offerings they have. If this is you, let me know by commenting Nike cult follower here. Number two, you're looking to get a new pair of trainers, but you're weighing your options before you get any shoes. Weighing them between a few different options, of course. If this is you, let me know in the comments which shoes you're comparing one against the other, and maybe leave a comment later if eventually I helped you out to arrive at a conclusion either way. Or number three, you've already bought the shoes, but you're looking to suss out some of the things you're experiencing with the pair of Nike Pegasus Plus you've purchased, and to see if they're echoed in the running community already. I'm hoping your questions will get answered in the video, but let me know by writing out the problem or questions you're experiencing in the comments below either way. That way, either myself or the TTR community will see your questions and will help answer these questions for you. This is the first iteration of what Nike is calling the Pegasus Plus. Yes, there was a previous iteration. If you know that in the first place, you know that it's called the Turbo. It even harkens back to it on the outsole right here. Pegasus Turbo. Yeah, there's a little bit of grime on the bottom of the shoes, of course. But all in all, this is a shoe of its own accord, even if it's been somewhat rebranded. So I'm going to skip over any remaining thoughts I have about it right now, and we're going to save that for the end of the video. Let's go ahead and talk about the fit. This shoe is great, plenty of room for my toes to splay to accommodate for hours of running, but not too much that they're going to be sliding around inside the shoes. I feel Nike has changed their sizing over the last 5 years or so, because I distinctly remember buying and wearing size 12.5 shoes while wearing 12 for all my other shoes. And although I still wear 12s in all my lifestyle shoes, I now wear Nikes in size 12. So all that being said, I recommend you get these in your standard shoe size. So let's go ahead and cover the upper colorways and overlays. I want to cover these now all together next, as some of the items are covered in all three topics. This, of course, is Nike's Flyknit upper, one of their most popular and long-standing uppers. Everything is very, very breathable. Now, while there is some venting on the top here of the upper, I'd say the majority of the venting actually comes around from the sides, especially here and on the medial side of the shoe. So expect getting great ventilation during those warmer months. So as far as the colorways, of course, we have a black base on this colorway, blue access along the sides here, both sides, and the orange Nike logo extending on both sides of the shoe as well. The most obvious feature, at least visually, is this very pronounced orange stripe that covers from the front to the tongue. And then there's this little tiny purple Nike logo here. I'm not totally sold on the look of this shoe with the stripe per se. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are regarding the stripe. It's a very bold choice. Reflective accents adorn the tongue here, right? This little accent here, and then on the back here. So a little bit of visibility when you're out on your night runs. That's pretty beneficial for sure. As far as overlays, there's not too much here really to talk about. Really, it's just what's seen on the back. Otherwise, the lacing channel is where the only other place where you'll see any other overlays. So about right here. So this little piece right here, and then over here. If you're new here, thanks so much for checking out this video. I hope you consider sticking around. And if you like what you see, please let me know by hitting the like button and leave a comment. And also, please consider subscribing. Any and all those things help let me know if you're finding this video and the content I'm putting out helpful. Thanks so much. It means a world of support. If you're not new, welcome back, my friend. Your support has been instrumental in the growth of this channel. Now, the tongue is a really nice minimal design, something I'm a big fan of. Only padded in the most necessary areas. I like this choice. There is no gusset equipped on this shoe, meaning there's nothing sewn from the underside of the upper onto the tongue to keep the tongue from shifting around. Not the end of the world, but it's nice to have that feature on a lot of the shoes these days. If you're finding this video helpful, please mention it specifically in the comments below. Please give this video a like and consider subscribing. Thanks so much. Just know that you can skip around the video if you want. If there's something specific that piques your interest, go for it, jump around. I do ask if you do that, maybe come back to the start of the video. I put a lot of work in these videos, so it means a lot if I see people watching them from start to finish. Now on to the review. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and cover the laces. These laces are closer to the thin side, not a bad thing overall. They're just a little more minimal than I'm used to. They get the job done, of course. I felt I didn't really have any issues with these while on my runs. Laces provided more than enough lockdown to keep my feet secure, so no worries there. Now, as far as the insole, I thought it was worth mentioning, unlike many other Nike shoes from years past, these don't have a glued insole. You can actually remove these, so no more sticky residue, and you can add your favorite insoles if that's something you need. Orthotics, what if you call them? So as far as the heel counter is really strong. It has helped keep my Achilles stay locked into place. The collar and the heel flare has some really nice soft materials that are easy on the skin if you want to go sockless. All right, so moving on to one of the more relevant topic, the midsole. So yeah, I do believe that these firmly fit in the daily trainer category according to how the midsole is designed. These sport the Zoom X foam found in Nike's premium racing shoes. I found that although I don't get a racing feel in foot from these, I do get a decent amount of cushioning on my runs overall. I like the Pegasus logo here, as well as the bump out on the bottom of the heel. Speaking of which, what's your favorite snack or guilty pleasure you feel a little less guilty eating while you're on your runs? Let me know in the comments. As a random question, but I don't know, you gotta throw them in sometimes. I'm gonna talk more about the midsole and my overall experience. So I'm gonna skip over any remaining thoughts I have about it right now, and we're gonna save that for the end of the video. Okay, so let's talk about outsole. A couple things I wanted to mention here. One, the rubber coverage is really great. There's a lot of good balance here of where they left gaps to keep my feet happy by not installing a huge wedge of rubber in here. This, I feel, has lent itself better to getting that midsole foam a little more room in these spaces and has meant it's going to be even more comfortable that way. Even though I wasn't a fan of the top stripe, ironically, the one here on the bottom is pretty cool to look at. Even bumps up over the front here and in the rear of the shoe. As far as durability, I expect these to hold up really well, honestly. Nike typically does a great job when employing rubber, such as this on their shoes. If you're finding this video helpful, please consider subscribing to the channel. It's super helpful to let me know how much you appreciate the content by doing so. All right, so I mentioned I was going to compare the difference of these two shoes, intended uses for the shoe and materials for the midsole. The midsole for the Turbo had recycled pieces of Zoom X that made it heavier than the Peg Plus, this one. This is due to the Pegasus Plus having a full slab of Zoom X foam, making it a lighter shoe as a result. A huge win for the Peg Plus. The interesting difference between these two midsoles, again, is that because of how the shoe is made, the Turbo with its recycled and Plus with its uniform piece of Zoom X, this results in inspiring two varying feelings underfoot. Due to the uniform piece of Zoom X, you end up feeling more ground feedback than you would with the Turbo due to the manufacturing process of this recycled Zoom X. Next, we have the intended use for the shoe. Nike does not label the Pegasus Plus as a speed day shoe. The Pegasus Turbo, however, was meant to be at least partially a speed day shoe in addition to being a daily trainer. And although I'm not saying you can't use the Plus for tempos and speed sessions, it's not what the shoe was designed for. This, according to Nike, is definitely a daily trainer. I'll cover that a little bit more and where I do think it might actually fit into the speed day category, but for now, just know that it's not necessarily designed for speed exclusively. So for it to be compared to the Turbo in that regard would be a little bit of a fallacy. Let me just remind you, I'm not saying that the Turbo was ever a bad shoe. Quite the contrary. The point I'm making is that they are not the same shoe. So if you're going into this thinking that they are going to be, just want to give you a heads up about that. And what I believe Nike is trying to do is broaden their reach. Yes, the Plus looks similar to the younger Turbo version 1, especially the 1, not version 2 necessarily. But so did, younger versions of myself, and it doesn't mean I still run the same. To be fair, it also kind of looks like you could take this to the bowling alley and get away with not having to rent shoes. So looks don't indicate everything. I mentioned I was going to talk about the midsole, so we're going to go ahead and kind of get into that right now. And basically, the section for this is who's the shoe made for. I think for starters, this is a great shoe for those more experienced runners wanting to get something that's got a little bit more kick and performance in that of a newer style daily trainer, all while staying within the Nike family. And what I mean by experienced, someone who likes to put 40 miles a week every month, month after month, with the caveat to use these as a daily trainer, I would say requires that level of durability on the body due to it not being a medium to maximal built daily trainer. And that's one type of demographic. If you're not a high mileage runner, meaning 40 plus a week, but you really like to feel a little bit less foam rather than more foam underfoot, these would make a potentially phenomenal trainer for you. A lot of amateur runners like to have slightly more and even much more foam underfoot, but not everyone wants that. Some runners who could get knocked over by a swift breeze would likely appreciate these because they're much more responsive, the less weight you're putting down onto the midsole. Someone like myself, however, these work better when I want the least amount of cushioning underfoot while I am out on my runs. Something to pick up the pace, something where I just really want to go a little bit faster. For me, these work better for shorter daily runs of 10 miles or less, and they're also good if you want to insert some sort of burst, strides, tempo intervals, or entire tempo sessions. If you run in these shoes, let me know how you've been using them so you can help out the community at large. So that concludes my review of the Nike Pegasus Plus. Hope you found the video helpful. Be sure to hit the like button if you did. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. And the next time somebody asks you what your favorite running YouTube channel is, just tell them it's time to run. See you in the next one.